In the golden days of the Mughal Empire, India was a land of grandeur, gardens, and palaces that touched the skies. Among the majestic courts of the empire, a young prince named Shah Jahan was beginning to shape his destiny. Though he was born into royalty, surrounded by silk, gold, and the constant hum of palace life, he often felt a quiet longing, a desire to find someone whose heart could echo his own. It was during a grand celebration in the imperial city that Shah Jahan first saw her. Mumtaz Mahal, known to all for her grace and intelligence, moved through the palace gardens with a poise that seemed to make the world itself pause. Her eyes, deep and expressive, reflected both gentleness and strength. For a moment, the world faded for Shah Jahan. The music of the court, the laughter of courtiers, even the bright tapestries seemed to vanish as his gaze held hers. Mumtaz Mahal was not just beautiful, she possessed a keen mind and a warm heart. She spoke with wisdom beyond her years and treated everyone she met with kindness. When Shah Jahan finally approached her, it was not with the arrogance of a prince accustomed to power, but with a quiet respect and a curiosity that mirrored her own. Their conversation began with polite words, but quickly grew into laughter and shared stories of their lives. For the first time, Shah Jahan realized that love was not just about admiration or beauty, it was about understanding and connection. Over the weeks and months that followed, the prince and Mumtaz grew closer. In the palace gardens, hidden from the eyes of the court, they would walk for hours, speaking of dreams, hopes, and the future. Shah Jahan found himself captivated by her thoughts, her courage, and the gentle way she listened to him. Mumtaz, in turn, saw in him a man of deep feeling and quiet strength. Their hearts intertwined, not in a fleeting moment of passion, but in a steady, growing bond that promised a lifetime together. Despite the splendor of palace life, there were challenges: political alliances, family expectations, and the responsibilities of the crown pressed heavily upon Shah Jahan. Yet Mumtaz was his anchor. She advised him wisely, comforted him in moments of doubt, and shared his joys as fully as his burdens. Their love became a private world, a sanctuary amidst the demands of empire. It was a love that grew steadily, not in the flashes of dramatic courtship, but in the small, enduring gestures of care, attention, and mutual respect. When Shah Jahan asked for her hand in marriage, it was met with joy from both families. Their wedding was celebrated with grandeur, yet in the quiet moments of the ceremony, their eyes met, and the rest of the world disappeared. In each other, they found a companion, a confidant, and a true partner. Together, they dreamed of a life filled with shared responsibility, laughter, and love that could weather any storm. As they settled into life together, Mumtaz became not just a beloved wife, but an advisor, a friend, and a source of inspiration for the prince. She accompanied him on travels, shared in his duties, and became known throughout the empire for her wisdom and compassion. People spoke of their love in hushed tones, not merely because of the prince's position, but because it was genuine, visible in every glance, gesture, and word between them. Shah Jahan often found himself marveling at the simple moments with her, the way she would quietly observe the gardens, the gentle laughter she shared with palace children, the way she encouraged him to be a better ruler and a better man. Every day brought new layers to their love, deepening the bond that had begun so many months ago under the blossoming trees of the palace gardens. But as the empire grew and responsibilities multiplied, the prince sometimes felt the sharp sting of worry. Wars, alliances, and the burdens of leadership weighed heavily upon him, yet Mumtaz was always by his side, a calming presence who reminded him of the life they shared and the hope that love could bring even in the darkest times. Their love was no longer just a private delight, it became a source of strength and inspiration, a force that could withstand the pressures of power and the passage of time. The story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal is not simply a tale of royal romance. It is the story of two hearts finding one another, of love that grows quietly but deeply, of connection that endures even amidst the weight of an empire. After their wedding, Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal began a life together filled with both wonder and responsibility. The young emperor, though deeply honored to rule over the Mughal Empire, found his greatest joy not in the splendor of his throne, but in the quiet moments shared with Mumtaz. Every smile, every thoughtful word from her seemed to lighten the weight of the crown. She was not just his wife, she was his companion, confidant, and inspiration. In the early years of their marriage, Mumtaz accompanied Shah Jahan on travels across the empire. From the bustling cities to the serene riverside palaces, she was by his side, learning the intricate workings of the empire while never losing the warmth of her gentle presence. Everywhere they went, people admired her grace, intelligence, and unwavering devotion. The emperor often noticed the respect she inspired in everyone, from ministers to commoners, and felt proud to call her his partner. Their love grew stronger with every passing day. They spent hours discussing the welfare of their people, listening to the voices of the empire, and planning for a future where justice, wisdom, and compassion could flourish. Yet, amidst all this, they never lost the personal intimacy that had first drawn them together. In the quiet of their private gardens, away from the eyes of the court, Shah Jahan would speak to Mumtaz of his dreams, and she would share hers. They laughed together, comforted each other in moments of doubt, and celebrated every small victory as a team. Mumtaz bore Shah Jahan 14 children, though not all survived infancy, a reality that brought both joy and sorrow to their lives. Each child who thrived became a symbol of their shared love and hope for the future. Shah Jahan adored Mumtaz even more during these times, witnessing her courage, patience, and tenderness. She was more than just a mother. She was a teacher, a guide, and a source of moral strength, not just for her children, but for the emperor himself. Despite the challenges of court life, Mumtaz and Shah Jahan's love remained unshaken. When political tensions arose or battles threatened the empire's stability, they found solace in each other. Shah Jahan often remarked that no decision felt heavier if Mumtaz's hand was holding his, no problem insurmountable if her presence steadied him. Their bond was a refuge from the world's demands, a constant reminder of the human heart amidst the grandeur of kingship. Even the smallest gestures spoke volumes of their devotion. Mumtaz would leave carefully folded notes for Shah Jahan in his chambers, offering encouragement and gentle advice. He, in turn, would send her flowers from distant provinces, delicately arranged with personal messages of love and admiration. Their lives were intertwined in ways both grand and simple, creating a love story that touched all who witnessed it. Yet, life's beauty was often shadowed by fragility. The emperor and his beloved faced health scares, political unrest, and the emotional toll of losing children. Through every trial, Mumtaz remained the steadfast light of the palace. Her calm wisdom guided Shah Jahan through decisions that could determine the fate of millions. And though the world saw her as a queen, to Shah Jahan, she was always the young woman in the gardens, whose eyes had first captured his heart with quiet intensity. The people of the empire came to speak of their love with admiration. It was said that the emperor and his queen ruled not only with power but with mutual respect and deep affection. Their story was told in poems, songs, and whispered legends throughout the cities. More than rulers, they were partners whose love inspired the lives of those around them, reminding everyone that even amidst authority and grandeur, the heart's desires remained sacred and vital. As the years went by, Shah Jahan often reflected on the gift of Mumtaz Mahal. He remembered the day they met, the first spark of understanding in her gaze, and the way her presence had forever changed his life. He cherished their children, the lessons learned together, and the countless moments that stitched their lives into a tapestry of enduring love. Yet he was always conscious that time was fleeting, and life, no matter how abundant, could never be taken for granted. Mumtaz, too, treasured every moment. She understood the pressures of being the emperor's partner, the responsibilities of motherhood, and the constant scrutiny of the court. Yet she never wavered in her devotion, finding joy in the laughter of her children, in the quiet companionship of her husband, and in the small, ordinary moments that often carried the deepest meaning. Together, they created a world that balanced duty with intimacy, power with tenderness, and ambition with love. But life, as it often does, held an unexpected shadow. Even in the midst of happiness, a whisper of tragedy lingered, a reminder that love, no matter how deep, is inseparable from the reality of mortality. Mumtaz's health began to falter during her final pregnancy, and though Shah Jahan spared no effort to care for her, the inevitable approached with quiet inevitability. Their love, tested through joy and sorrow, was about to face its greatest trial, one that would forever change the course of their lives and the world itself. Life, as Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal had learned, was a delicate balance between joy and sorrow. Their love had been a guiding light through the responsibilities of empire and the challenges of parenthood. Yet even the strongest hearts are not immune to the deepest tragedies. As Mumtaz's final pregnancy approached, a shadow began to fall over the royal household, a quiet tension that neither Shah Jahan nor his beloved could ignore. Mumtaz had always been a woman of remarkable strength. She carried herself with grace, even in the most difficult circumstances, and faced the physical demands of childbirth with courage. But this pregnancy, heavy with both hope and peril, tested her in ways no one could have foreseen. Shah Jahan remained constantly at her side, watching over her with an intensity born of love and fear. Every day he reminded her of her strength, and every night he silently prayed for her safety. The palace, though magnificent, could not shield them from the inevitability of fate. When the time came, Mumtaz went into labor, surrounded by skilled attendants and doctors, yet nature's course proved merciless. Despite the efforts of all, she fell gravely ill during childbirth. Shah Jahan, watching helplessly, felt a grief so profound it seemed to shake the very foundations of the empire. His beloved wife, the woman whose presence had been the heart of his life, was slipping away. In her final moments, Mumtaz Mahal spoke not of fear but of love. She reassured Shah Jahan, expressing pride in the life they had built together and the children they had nurtured. Her words were gentle, filled with a wisdom that transcended her pain. "Our love," she whispered, "will endure beyond this world. Promise me you will carry it forward." Shah Jahan, unable to hold back the tears, vowed to honor her memory in every possible way. His grief was overwhelming, but so was his determination to transform it into a lasting tribute to the woman who had been his life. Mumtaz passed away, leaving the emperor devastated. The joy and warmth she had brought into his life were replaced by a silence so profound that even the bustling courts and gardens of the palace could not pierce it. Shah Jahan's sorrow was not private, it was felt throughout the empire. Courtiers, ministers, and common people alike mourned with him, recognizing that the emperor's loss was also the loss of someone extraordinary. Mumtaz Mahal had been more than a queen. She had been the embodiment of compassion, intelligence, and love itself. Shah Jahan's grief transformed him. He withdrew from courtly affairs, spending long hours in solitude, wandering the gardens they had once walked together, and reflecting on the memories they had shared. Every object, every corner of the palace reminded him of her. the sound of her laughter, the softness of her voice, the warmth of her presence. In these moments, he realized that words or monuments would not suffice to honor such a profound connection. Yet driven by both love and sorrow, he resolved to create something that could last for eternity. From the depths of his heartbreak, an idea began to take shape, a monument that would not only commemorate Mumtaz Mahal, but also capture the essence of their love. He envisioned a structure of unparalleled beauty, a place where people could feel the depth of devotion he carried in his heart. Shah Jahan spared no detail, drawing plans with precision, consulting the finest architects, and selecting materials of extraordinary quality. Marble, precious stones, and intricate carvings would combine to create a palace of memory, a testament to the love that had defined his life. Work on this grand mausoleum began soon after Mumtaz's passing. The Taj Mahal, as it would come to be known, rose along the banks of the Yamuna River, reflecting both the sky and the emotions that had inspired it. Every dome, every arch, every delicate inlay carried meaning, expressions of longing, grief, devotion, and the eternal nature of love. Artisans and craftsmen from across the empire and even from distant lands were called upon to bring the emperor's vision to life. Each stone was placed with reverence, each design chosen to honor the life and spirit of Mumtaz Mahal. Yet even amidst the creation of this magnificent monument, Shah Jahan never ceased to mourn. His love was not a memory, it was a living presence in every decision, every moment of reflection. Visitors to the Taj Mahal would later remark not only on its beauty, but on the palpable emotion that seemed to fill the air. It was a building born of grief, but also of hope, the hope that love, even in its deepest sorrow, could transcend time, space, and mortality. Shah Jahan's devotion became legendary. Though he continued to rule the empire, his heart was forever intertwined with Mumtaz Mahal. The Taj Mahal was more than marble and gems. It was the embodiment of a promise, the crystallization of a bond that death could not sever. It spoke to generations, whispering the story of a love that endured beyond the limits of human life, offering a glimpse of the profound connection that had once graced the emperor's days and nights. The Taj Mahal, rising from the banks of the Yamuna River, was more than a monument. It was the heartbeat of Shah Jahan's grief, his love, and his devotion. As the first marble stones were laid and the intricate carvings began to take shape, word of this magnificent creation spread across the empire. People marveled at the scale, the craftsmanship, and the beauty of the work, yet they sensed something deeper, a love so profound that it had inspired a creation unlike any other. Shah Jahan spent years overseeing the construction. He walked among artisans, carefully observing every detail, insisting on perfection, not for pride or fame, but for Mumtaz Mahal, the woman who had been his world. Every dome, every inlay, every delicate reflection in the polished marble was a testament to her spirit and the life they had shared. In moments of solitude, he would sit in the gardens, watching the sun's light dance across the walls, and feel her presence in every corner of the monument. The Taj Mahal became a bridge between life and memory, grief and beauty, mortality and eternity. As the structure neared completion, Shah Jahan's heart, though still heavy with sorrow, found a sense of peace. He knew that Mumtaz Mahal's memory would endure, not only in the hearts of their children and descendants, but also in the admiration of countless generations who would stand before the monument and feel the power of their love. The emperor often walked along the reflecting pool, imagining Mumtaz's smile, the way her eyes had always held both warmth and intelligence. It was as if through the Taj Mahal, she had returned to him, forever frozen in beauty and grace. The day of Mumtaz Mahal interment was both solemn and beautiful. Shah Jahan, dressed in the finest silks, stood beside the marble tomb, his eyes reflecting the sorrow that never truly left him. Though the world around him celebrated the architectural marvel, he felt only the profound absence of the woman who had shared his life, his laughter, and his dreams. In that moment, he understood that love was not merely about presence. It was about memory, devotion, and the quiet endurance of the heart. The Taj Mahal became a place of pilgrimage, not only for those who admired architecture, but for anyone seeking a glimpse of true, enduring love. Scholars, travelers, and poets came from distant lands, drawn by the story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. They spoke of the monument as a poem in stone, each carving and dome a stanza expressing longing, devotion, and the profound connection between two souls. Mothers whispered the story to their children, lovers shared it in secret letters, and rulers admired the devotion of one man to the memory of his beloved. For Shah Jahan, the monument was both a tribute and a comfort. Though Mumtaz Mahal was gone, her presence lingered in every curve of the marble, in the reflection of the water, and in the delicate shadows cast by the sun. He continued to rule the empire with wisdom and care, but in his heart, the Taj Mahal remained his sanctuary. It reminded him daily that love, when true, transcends life itself. It survives in memory, in deeds, and in the beauty that one heart can create in honor of another. Even in his later years, Shah Jahan never stopped reflecting on the love they had shared. He spoke often to his children about their mother, ensuring that her values, her wisdom, and her kindness would guide future generations. Though grief never entirely left him, it transformed into a quiet reverence, a gentle strength that shaped the rest of his life. The world saw a powerful emperor, but within him lived the heart of a man forever devoted to the woman who had captured his soul. The story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal remains legendary because it speaks to something universal, the desire to honor love, to preserve memory, and to create beauty from devotion. The Taj Mahal is more than a building. It is a testament to the enduring power of love, a silent, everlasting witness to the bond between two hearts. Visitors continue to stand before it in awe, sensing not only the skill of human hands, but the depth of a love that could not be confined to life alone. Even centuries later, the monument reflects the emotions of two souls intertwined forever. The gentle curves of the domes, the precise symmetry of the gardens, and the ethereal glow of the white marble under the sun's rays echo the story of a love that was pure, steadfast, and eternal. Shah Jahan's grief became art. His devotion became a legacy, and Mumtaz Mahal's memory became immortal, not just in marble, but in the hearts of all who encounter their story.